People have no idea how hard it is on Animal Park. We shovel poo all day.
I don't mind that.
You have to work with presenters who are constantly teasing you.
Oh, man up.
And you get slobbered on by camels with stinky breath.
Well, I get slobbered on by you with stinky breath and I don't complain.
OK, imagine I was an orphaned animal and you had to care for me 24 hours a day. You couldn't put me down. And everything, my whole instinct was telling me to die unless I had your undivided attention.
Oh, no, you're right. I couldn't do that.
I've got no!
Luckily, the keepers at the park are serious about their maternal instincts. They face a matter of life and death with some marvellous marsupials.
Take him straight down to Animal Venture. It's the heat.
Wolfwood is getting ready for breeding, and it's vital that its residents get it on.
If it didn't happen, it would be really worrying.
And it's feeding time with Jean. But you won't believe what the goats want on the menu.
It's not easy filming with goats. There's one just trying to eat our director.
A handful of wallabies have been born over the past year. But birth is only the start of a long journey. These mid-sized macropods are looked after by a team of 5 keepers, including veteran wallaby keeper Bev.
When the joey is born in the pouch, they're absolutely tiny, and they have to sort of make themselves crawl up mums inside the pouch in the fur, up to the teat, basically. Because you won't know that the mum is pregnant to begin with. You know, you wouldn't know that she had a joey in there. And it's usually when the pouch becomes a little bit bigger, you may sort of notice something's going on.
Mummy Wallaby Zero gave birth a few months ago, but a time of joy has turned to one of sadness. Wallabies are susceptible to a highly degenerative bacterial infection known as lumpy jaw, and Zero has caught it. She now has a mouthful of abscesses and can no longer feed.
So do you think the joey's still alive?
I'm hoping so. There's a possibility that if she hasn't been feeding, but actually I think it's just wiggling a little bit.
Yeah, I can see it wiggling, yeah.
Treatment is highly invasive with a low success rate. Zero's prognosis is very poor, so the team have made the difficult decision to put her to sleep. Focus must also turn quickly to the tiny joey inside the pouch if they have any hope of saving it.
Just you take him straight down to Animal Venture. It's the heat. And then I'll let him settle, because he's obviously quite a little distressed now.
When tragedy causes a young animal to lose its mother, the keepers do all they can to give them the best chance of survival.
Oh, he's so tiny.
The team must weigh and feed the joey immediately.
The measurements will tell the exact age, really.
Yeah. 13 centimetres, yeah.
This is roughly around 120 days old.
He looked bigger in the pouch.
For that length of tail and foot, it should be a bit heavier.
The park has successfully hand-reared baby wallabies in the past, but never one this young. The situation here is critical.
I was hoping he was going to be a little bit bigger than this, but all we can do is our best.
First things first, Becky and Gemma must get some food inside this baby.
It's not scaring. Just try and bring his head out a little bit. We are going to do the joey's first feed. The next 48 hours, I'd say, are gonna be the scariest.
If he doesn't accept the bottle, he will quickly lose weight and his tiny body will shut down, with fatal consequences.
I know, it's very new, isn't it? To start with, you're kind of hoping just to get small amounts into him. Come on, little dude.
That's a good boy.
Good boy. That's very promising.
Fab job.
One more time, little man. Let's just try and get a little bit more in. No more? Right, I think that's it for now. We don't know when Mum last fed him, and although he's had a little bit of milk from us, it might not be enough. So 48 hours time, if he's still going as he is, then we will, touch wood, we'll be out of the woods and we can relax just a little bit.
The coming hours are critical. Gemma takes the struggling Joey home and under steady watch feeds him through the night. The next morning, it's time for Becky to step in.
Right, so how's he been getting on?
He's been okay, but unfortunately not great.
Okay, what's happened?
Well, the last few feeds, he wasn't good at all. He didn't feed at all.
Okay.
Which is a little bit worrying.
Despite Gemma's round-the-clock care and attention, devastatingly, the Joey has died.
It's heartbreaking. They say not to get attached to your animals. Very, very difficult not to, you know. I mean, we all say it, we all act tough. Hand rearing is very, very difficult. He was so tiny.
We tried. It was a low chance that he was going to survive anyway. He was very, very young.
Yeah.
And we did the best we could.
But this is not the end of the story for Gemma. We'll be back with her and the Wallaby team later in the show as they come to terms with their loss.
Like death, birth is a natural part of life. But before the miracle of a new life happens, two vital ingredients are needed: a mother and a father. In the wild, animals can choose their partners from a wide pool of suitors. But here in the park, it's down to the keepers to play matchmaker. Often, things don't go according to plan. But the keepers are always hopeful that Cupid will strike. Behind the scenes, in the carnivore section, there's a long-running project to inject new life into Wolf Wood, headed up by keeper Eloise.
These are our two European wolves. We've got Aliska here. She's our female. She's just over 2 years old, about 2.5 years old now. And we got her about 18 months ago. And then good boy, Django, good boy. Django here is our male European wolf.
After 5-year-old Django failed to breed with a previous partner, confident young Aliska was brought in. Keepers hoped they would be a perfect match. It was not love at first sight.
So when we first had Django and Aliska, he would be stealing all of her meat, which was really worrying because obviously we need her to eat lots of food so that she knows she did have pups, she'd be able to feed them.
For years, an impressive pack of Canadian timber wolves prowled and howled around Wolf Wood. But due to old age, the numbers have dwindled.
Now she's reached 2 years old, so she is now fully sexually mature as well. And that's great because we really want to breed with these two lovely wolves.
The idea is to start breeding afresh with this pair of European wolves. But Eloise is still waiting for babies. There are tentative glimmers of attraction, but Team Wolf aren't giving up.
Luckily, over the past couple of months, we've had these really good behavioural changes. It's been really nice to see them going from a place where Django was stealing all of the food to a place where he was actually letting Aliska have food and form that relationship with each other, playing a lot more, play jumping around.
Desperate to spot signs that the pair might breed, Eloise and colleague Hannah check the footage on the camera traps they've set around the enclosure. Fertile wolves only come into heat once a year.
You can actually see that she's rubbing herself on the trees and urinating quite a lot, which is good. And go to the next clip, see if there's anything. We've never really seen many relationship interactions with them. They've always sort of been off of on their own, so seeing them trying to connect with each other is really good.
If Aliska is fertile, It's now or never for Django. There's only a small window during which they must mate. To see if the pair are doing what alpha wolves are meant to, Animal Park cameraman Will has been asked to try and capture the moment. But will he get the shot?
While the news of tiny baby wolf pitter-patter is eagerly awaited, an enormous new recruit is joining Tina's favourite charge, Minnie.
Hi, Minnie Moo. Oh, she's a good girl. She's a good moose.
On the other side of the paddock, Jean has joined Tina and John to greet this giant delivery.
This is so exciting. There's a new elk arriving as we speak. Tina and John, what can we do to make sure this is a really smooth transition?
We've prepared as much as we can.
Right, okay.
We've got the paddocks ready, we've got Minnie all set up, we created a nice little corridor here, and fingers crossed all she's going to do, we don't need to do anything, she'll be wanting to get off this trailer and she'll just pot off into the paddock.
This is so exciting for me. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, excited and nervous. Whenever we introduce a new animal, it's always hoping it goes fine and that they get on.
An animal weighing 240 kilos has enough might for anything to happen.
We're good this side, Jenna. I'd say there. Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
What are the dangers when you're offloading animals?
Well, with animals like this that are quite flighty, when she does come out, it's if she goes charging about, goes running into a fence, could cause injury to herself.
You know, as soon as possible, want to start establishing a relationship with her. So what's the first stage in that?
Well, they've got a fantastic bond with Minnie, our other elk already. The idea is to be able to build up that same relationship with this elk as well. We'll give her probably a day or two to find her feet, explore her surroundings, and then the team will start that process.
Gentleman's just opening the outer door. So it's fair, hey, it's fair.
Steady, hey, hey, hey. It's all right, it's all right.
Tina? Yes. Is she all right in there? I can hear her thrashing around.
We're just, you know, she knows the door's down, so she'll probably see daylight and things like that. So she knows something's going on. She just wants to get off.
Yeah, good when you are.
The new elk could endanger herself or the team when she's released from the trailer, so Tina uses her expertise to keep her calm in extremely hard circumstances.
Yeah, Mum. That's fair.
I've been here a couple of minutes now, and I think Svea's just a little bit cautious about her new surroundings. Everybody expected her to come thrashing out, but she's still in there.
That's fair.
She might be coming.
Yeah,
oh, there she is. Well done.
She's got really white legs.
You get your first look at her, Tina?
She's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Hey, lovely, steady. Nice fair.
She's got really long legs.
I can tell that you're really looking forward to getting to know her, aren't you?
Yeah, just, you know, she's beautiful, absolutely. So different from Minnie as well. Oh, she's eating the browse already.
Good girl, Sphere. Good girl. Minnie!
How soon before you start getting them together?
I think we'll have to just judge that on their behaviour. If all the behaviour is positive, then there's no point in waiting.
Oh, look, she's having a real good run around.
And she's just met the wildebeest, so that's a whole new experience for her. She's got the zebras to meet the ostrich now, and Minnie, of course, so one step at a time.
One small step for Svea. We'll find out later in the series if it's a giant leap for her friendship with Minnie.
Some creatures at Longleat don't need much looking after, but some are very high maintenance. And by high maintenance, I don't mean Kate.
You would not believe, but thornback rays, a lovely British species, are actually amongst the fussiest animals in the park. Isn't that right, Chris?
This is true. This is very true. They're really, really fussy.
So you have to test their water how often?
We need to test them twice a day.
Twice a day?
Twice a day, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. So effectively, what you've had to do here, presumably, is mimic the lovely sea around the British coastline.
Yes, with the rays especially, yeah. Temperature, the salinity, pH. And
So the ones that we've done already, this one, remind me, this was the nitrates, is that right?
Yes, that's nitrates.
So what do we need to do now to get this pH?
We need to get 5 millilitres of water out of this one.
OK.
Yeah.
Do that. There we go. Squeeze it into the bottle.
Squeeze it into the bottle.
Yeah.
And then we grab that little blue bottle.
Yeah.
Open it up.
Yeah.
And turn it upside down and put 3 drops in it.
Which is quite precise, isn't it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
You can see instantly it's starting to change colour.
Yeah. And so we've got various colours and numbers on here. What's your ideal?
Between 7.8 and 8.2.
I would say that's pretty much spot on, wouldn't you?
Great.
What about temperature? Is that important as well? Because obviously it's not the open sea, so it must potentially get warmer.
So temperatures we test with this.
Right.
It's really easy. Point and shoot.
Literally that?
Point and shoot.
Like that?
Yeah.
12.8.
Yep, 12.8. There we go.
And that's
Amazing.
pretty good temperature,
That's
I would
pretty good
say.
temperatures. Between 11 and, say, maybe 14, 15 is the higher range of the temperature.
And if any of these things are slightly out and you sort of ignore them or you say, gosh, I'm a bit too busy to do a water change today, what would happen to these animals? What would be the sign that they're not great?
One very big sign with most animals actually is if they're feeding or not.
Well, shall we see whether you've done a good job and whether they are eating or not today?
Yes, we shall. Okay.
Do you know, I've never fed a ray, but is this what you have to use?
Yes, we have to use this.
I'm very happy to pick up fish, but you have to do it with this, do you?
You have to do it, because, they only feed up against the flat surface, usually.
That is actually not as easy as it looks. So
you squiggle it in front of the ungulate's nose.
Okay.
And then as soon as he moves, let go.
Here we are.
This Pancake, her name is.
Come on, Pancake.
We can actually, that's a good one. You try and feed, let go now.
Oh, there you are, Pancake. How was that?
Amazing.
Well done, Chris. It seems like you've been able to keep the fussiest animals in the park happy, so good job.
Thank you very much.
But if you think the rays are demanding, Gemma has got an even bigger challenge on her hands.
The keepers at Animal Adventure have suffered a heartbreaking double blow. Not only have they lost Zero, the wallaby, they hoped her dangerously underweight baby Joey could be nursed to health by Gemma. But it was not to be.
The last Joey that we took sadly passed away. He was so tiny, really, really tough, and it's heartbreaking. I was devastated.
Even with the greatest passion, love and care, sometimes the death of an animal cannot be prevented. Bev has successfully hand-reared a baby wallaby. She's an invaluable resource for the team.
It's really hard because you're just trying to do the best, hoping they are going to survive. So sometimes if they don't take the bottle to begin with, making sure the pouch is nice and warm and secure for them. And sometimes hand-rearing doesn't go to plan, and that can be really, really tough. But it's one of those things that you have to go through, you learn from it.
As one tragic story ends, another bounces into Gemma's life.
This young man is roughly 200 days old, so around 6 months. Unfortunately, little Joey's mum had let him out of her pouch. We didn't really think anything of it. It's a normal thing for them to do. He was sat pulling the pouch open, waiting to go in, but mum just wasn't interested in letting him back in.
At 6 months old, baby wallabies will leave the pouch for just a few minutes, then quickly return, unlike this poor Joey.
We did leave him with mum for a few hours to see if he would get back in the pouch, and bless him, he did try.
It's not usual for a mother to not accept its baby back. Reluctantly, the keepers had to take action.
Unfortunately, it was quite a cold day, so he couldn't have been out of the pouch for too much longer. We had to make the decision to intervene, to pull him for hand rearing, and it's such a hard decision.
The team now faced the challenge of hand-rearing a second wallaby in as many days. Occurrences like this are very rare, but for Gemma, it's a daunting second chance. On top of her usual duties, Gemma must check in constantly on her new charge.
Here he is.
Like a human baby, Joey needs to be fed, kept warm and cared for around the clock. He is totally reliant on his new mum, Gemma.
He stays in Animal Adventure during the day just because it's nice and warm. And throughout the day, I come back up and just do his feeds. Now that we have pulled him, obviously the hand rearing begins. Feeding is every 5 hours. It's very, very hard work. Go on, little man, we have to feed you. He is still very, very tiny. There we go. It's crucial that he maintains his feeding and his weight.
He's 2 months older than Gemma's first Joey, but is severely underweight. He must get the knack of feeding.
Oh yeah, you can see he's suckling there. Yep. And as I said, I can feel it on my fingers that are under his chin. And it's just little push by little push. Everything you do has to be, you know, perfect. You can't be late with a feed, you know, he has to have that routine. And weighing him every day, and we need to know if he's not having enough milk or if he's having too much milk. Should we go with 696? Yeah. It's quite nerve-wracking for myself as the main carer. Just because I've completely fallen in love with him, and I don't want anything to happen. So yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but up to the challenge.
Gemma has a round-the-clock, 24/7 task ahead in order to get the Joey's body weight to that of a parent-reared wallaby. The next milestone for his age is 800 grams. Can they make the weight?
Whether it's for a baby cheetah or a wise old elephant, there's no task too unusual for the keepers to undertake at the park. I've come up to the bongo house with keeper Leia, who has a rather unusual task I'm going to help you with.
Yep, this morning we're going to pop some cream just around Elf's eyes.
OK, so why do you need to put the cream around Elf's eyes?
It's really sensitive tissue. Previously, he's been really sensitive to us using things like citronella. So today we're going to go herbal and use some aloe propolis cream and hopefully provide a barrier, stop the horseflies biting.
So the horseflies are literally landing around poor Elf's eyes and biting him?
Yeah, the horseflies feed off little blood meals and they just cause little scabs and it really irritates him.
Elf is a magnificent-looking bongo with very large horns.
Yes.
How are you going to get the cream around Elf's eyes?
So we're going to drop his trough, we're going to give him his favourite thing, food, and his nose will be safely in this bowl which he'll be holding, and we'll just gently apply it just around the eyes, like we've been practising for a good few months with him.
So you kind of build up this behaviour so that you can do it when there's problems.
That way, any member of the team can safely do this, which you know is safest and most hygienic for Elf as well.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
If you just want to hold,
I'll do the food.
The bowl. If you want to just stand this side,
yes.
There we go. We try to put on quite a thick layer.
How often do you have to do this?
Every morning.
Every
before
morning.
he comes out in the summer.
Oh, look at that. Ooh, that looks really sore. Here you go. Come on, Elf.
Right,
come on.
He's quite happy with that there.
Do you need to do the other side as well?
Yeah, I'll just pop the other side of you if that's all right.
Here you go. Good boy. I think he's a little bit nervous of our cameraman.
I think he is.
He's staring you down.
All right, Elf. Good boy.
There you go.
He's just having a little think about that.
What would they do in the wild? No, they don't have a lovely keeper come along and put barrier cream around their eyes.
We're not sure whether they have this problem in the wild or not. They live in really dense jungle habitat. The eastern bongo, which is what we have here, are actually critically endangered. Only really found in Mount Kenya kind of area.
Have we got enough cream on there?
That is perfect. He's ready for the day.
Well done. Shall we? Shall I leave the rest of the food there?
That's fine. Another mouthful, that will do. Just to tell him he's been good.
Well done. That's going to feel a bit more comfortable.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Going the extra mile is not unusual here. Round-the-clock feeds and carrying out everyday chores are part and parcel of the care the team provide. Jean's on board to help get this next creature moving.
Right, Kim, who have you got here in this bag?
In my little bag down here, I have Orville, and he is a rather beautiful corn snake.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Look at the colour of him. Lovely markings. We've got this tank here, so what's the plan?
My main concern for Orville is that he doesn't move around enough in his tank. So I'm going to give him a chance to have a swim. It encourages the body to move, so it's things like digestion and going to the toilet, all that sort of stuff as well. So it helps with everything, really.
It can relieve constipation for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, well, I just place them in.
We're going to give him a go, yeah, see if he might not like it, but
we'll soon see.
We'll see.
Right, Orville, in you go.
There we go.
Wow,
so you see,
right away
it's
started
the
moving
S shape,
around.
so the moving of his body.
He looks very at ease in there and swimming around quite nicely.
Yeah, he does actually, yeah. So his body's, you can see the S shape and his body moving around.
Their bodies are perfect for swimming because they're basically one big muscle.
Yeah, pretty much. All snakes can swim. Just when you find snakes that live in the water, their bodies generally flatter, just helps with the speed as opposed to anything else. So obviously he's a rounded snake, so he's obviously a snake that lives on the land, but they all swim really, really well, using all those muscles in that S shape and moving it all around. Some snakes can keep their head under the water for up to an hour. So obviously, yeah, some snakes do hunt in the water as well.
He's moving up the tank as if he wants out, or
yeah, we're going to take him out again now.
So you don't want him to be in here for
not for too long. No, because I don't want him to get stressed. There we go. So he's okay.
There you go. Calm down.
It is a different environment for him because it's not obviously what he lives in. It's nice to see him move around like that because obviously we're lifting his body up and you can see how strong that front part of his body. Yeah. So it's nice to see that he can still use those muscles because that's one of the things that I was worried about as well.
And he was a rescue when he came to you, so you don't really know how... Oh, he's just on a toilet. So that's what snake poo looks like.
This is indeed what snake poo looks like, Jean. Yes, doesn't happen very often.
Well done, Norman. That relieves his
does.
constipation really quickly.
Works perfectly.
Well done.
Couldn't have done that any better.
It was lovely to meet Orville and great to see the way he moved around in that water.
Yes, thank you for your help. You've been a wonderful snake wrangler this afternoon.
Well, he's good at swimming and we got a poo out of him as well.
We did indeed.
So that's good.
Back now to Project Wolf Pup. The carnivore section are hoping that young European wolves, Django and Aliska, will start a new pack for the park. To see if the pair have become alpha wolves and are mating, Animal Park cameraman Will has spent 3 days filming them. It's time to reveal what he's found to keepers Eloise and Hannah.
She's been really flirtatious towards Django, which again is a really, really big positive.
Tugging his tail.
Neither Django nor Aliska have ever mated before, so the keepers hope their instinctive behaviour will take over for the very first time.
What she's also just done now is she's started rubbing herself a lot around the trees, which again is a good indication that she is in season.
They only get one chance a year. If they do successfully mate, they'll be bonded for life.
It's nice to see her looking dominant because you don't often see her being that alpha female. So she's starting to raise her tail up a lot more than I've ever seen before. Oh, I think he's twigged that something's happening with her.
He's kind of pawing at her
as
well.
He is. Definitely, he definitely knows that she's in season by the looks of it and definitely interested in her. Oh, this is so cute.
Django is definitely getting the message.
Just walking all over her, literally, and pawing at her.
Oh. I don't think he's quite got the hang of it.
No, he's definitely just trying to figure out what to do, isn't he? Bless him. Okay. This is so... I just can't believe this is happening with our wolves.
I know. They're really
trying to get the grips of this.
Then there's a great sign.
They've
tied.
The way that they've tied together makes it look like they've successfully mated. So he got in the right place in the end.
Like dogs, wolves can remain stuck together for up to 30 minutes. This increases the likelihood of fertilization.
I'm just ecstatic. It's hard to put into words.
The fact that they've tied and locked together means there is a possibility that we're going to have pups. But obviously, this being their first time being mature enough to try and mate, it's still not a done deal.
The gestation period for wolves is just 9 weeks. Till then, the wolf team will keep a close eye on Aliska.
Wolves are pretty monogamous animals. Normally, if they sort of essentially fall in love, it'll be for life. You're beautiful, aren't you, Aliska? Get some babies from you, please, because they'll be stunning. Yes.
So a new pack of wolves could be running around Wolfwood in the very near future. Animals here are typically kept like with like, but that's not always the case.
We all like a little bit of company from time to time, particularly as we get a bit older.
Yes, a visit from a youngster can be the perfect pick-me-up, can't it, Kate?
don't know what you're saying, Ben. But finding the perfect partner for the park's legendary old lady, don't say a word, was something of a challenge for the keepers.
Especially as this old lady has a big, wrinkly bottom.
He's talking about Anne the elephant.
It's up in the morning, slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites,
It's breakfast time. Keeper Kevin is in charge of feeding one of the park's oldest residents. Estimated to have surpassed the 60-year expectancy for an Asian elephant, elderly Anne spent her life in the circus and came to the park with chronic arthritis. But Kevin makes sure she's a comfy Ellie.
So that's the vitamins and minerals and supplements, and this is the actual medication. All right, breakfast time.
Elephants are herd animals, but introducing another elephant to Anne now is likely to be detrimental in her twilight years. So Kevin took on the mission to find her some suitable friends for company.
It took us quite a while to find the right sort of companionship for Anne. Initially, we felt that a smaller animal would work, so maybe like a sheep. The problems with sheep in the house is they have fleece, and Anne might be able to grab their fleece and cause damage to her sheep. We thought about a dog, but then we worried about a dog turning and biting her and causing Anne damage, and we don't want that to happen either. So after a little bit of head scratching, we found some goats. So we've got Anglo-Nubian goats. They're a nice little sort of trio. They work together very well. They run around together. They like each other's company, but they also sort of respect Anne as well.
Anglo-Nubian goats are intelligent, like company, and have a never-ending voracious appetite.
Anne is 3.5 tons, and I think our heaviest goat cost is probably around 100 kilograms, so there's a massive weight difference.
But it turns out these disproportionate peas are all from the same pod.
They just seem to get along from day one without any problems whatsoever. They're pretty low maintenance from a keeping point of view. They're confident enough around Anne, but very respectful as well. Everything seems to work as a relationship. If the goats weren't there, I think Anne would miss them.
Although Anne is fed generously every day, her 3 roomies are very greedy. Kevin's had to come up with an ingenious way to stop them eating her food. Jean's come to find out how.
What we've got here is Anne's morning scatter feed. So what we do is we put this out around the enclosure, inside and out, and it just encourages Anne to move around while she's eating as well. But the trouble is the pesky goats. They're so much quicker than Anne, so we have to put it in places where she can sort of take her time to get to, but the goats can't get it and eat it before she can.
Right, I can help you with that because there is some quite high up places in here, so let's start with that. But one of them, if I remember, is quite tall.
That's right. Costa, our male, when he can stand on his back legs, and that makes him taller than what I am, so
really?
he can reach quite a long way.
Right, OK, so we'll test this one because Costa might be able to get up here. Right, well, they're definitely not going to get it up there.
Not like that, they won't.
Mind your head, cameraman. Sorry, let's try that again. Third time lucky. It just about stayed up there. So that's good. Right, let's find some more places. Surely the goats aren't going to be able to get into this tyre over here.
They shouldn't do, no.
Right.
So the best thing to do is drop the food in between the sticks, and then Anne can come along and pull all the sticks out.
Right, let's let everyone out, and hopefully Anne will get to the food before the goats do.
Definitely. Breakfast.
Let's see. Right, we've let Anne out.
Yeah.
Time to release these 3.
That's it.
Right, you 3 out you come. Oh, they're quite fast, aren't they, once they get going?
That's it. So, yeah, they've headed straight to the tyre, because they know, every day we put the food in there. We've got the browse there to distract them as well.
And Costa's up on his back legs, and you can see how tall he is there. Dan came over and the three of them just jumped off the tyre, so they do know who's boss.
That's right.
She's having a really good rummage around that tyre with her trunk. That's great to see. Really crafty. One of the goats has started on the ball while she's been distracted by the tyre. There she goes, her trunk went up. It's a really great thing to see. How has Anne been getting on with using her trunk? Because I know that's something you always want to encourage.
Her trunk's probably back to about 80% of how it should actually be, so the muscle tone is improved, and she can use it almost as good as a healthy elephant now, which is really good for us to see.
Oh, look! I can't believe he got up into that tyre. How cheeky is that?
Bananas for breakfast.
And good climbers as well, I see.
It's much easier looking after an elephant than it is goats, I think.
High maintenance.
Definitely.
I mean, it's not easy filming with goats. They are everywhere. There's one just trying to eat our director. I mean, they are just... Oh, she's going to have to pick those up before the goats get them.
Yeah.
What's been so lovely, Kev, is seeing Anne using her trunk, really swinging it up high. It's amazing. And it's even been nice to see the goats as well, as troublesome as they are. Well done, sweetheart. You did so well.
The keepers take pride in the care they give to every one of their animals. At Animal Adventure, as the rest of the wallaby keepers are clocking off for the day, Gemma is taking her work back to her mum's.
Home now, so it's time to feed the Joey.
When you do take any animal for hand rearing, especially Joeys, it can be a long commitment. It does have a slight impact on your life as such, because you are taking it home.
Just hang him up there and I'm going to make his milk.
If you live with your partner or other family members, they get used to having this Joey there. They become part of the family as such when you're looking after them.
Bev successfully hand-reared a Joey for a year, so has plenty of tips for Gemma.
Once you sort of start hand-rearing the little Joey, you do become their mum. You're hoping they will thrive and go back with the group, but you never know. Sometimes things are taken out of your control.
Look at his little hands. So will he actually take all of that milk?
I'm hoping so. I mean, the most he's taken at the moment is 20 mil. He's only just started suckling. Right, last little bit, dude.
To develop properly, Joey must keep feeding. At just under 700 grams, he needs to put on over 100 grams to get in line with other wallabies his age.
He's just so tiny that I worry so much that he's going to lose weight.
But it's not just Joey's weight Gemma needs to worry about. Joey's leg muscles won't grow if he stays in the pouch, but too much exercise too soon could damage his developing muscles.
Exercise is key, but it has to be the right amount of exercise. It can't be too much and it can't be too little. If he was to stay in the pouch all the time, he'd be quite underdeveloped. Go that way. Tickle, tickle, tickle. He's a little bit shaky on his feet. He's still learning to hop around, so he's not quite confident yet in doing everything. But the other factor is that he's not the correct weight. So as soon as he hits the target weight that he should be at, then he will get much, much stronger.
To help Joey hit that goal, Gemma feeds him every 5 hours, even if it means getting up in the night.
It is still knackering. I'm very, very tired and I'm not functioning properly.
Now and then you do need to go out. Like if you've got a dog, you go out and walk the dog. So I used to put the rucksack on the front of me, and sometimes the little Jo did poke her head out.
We have to take him everywhere with us. If we go shopping, then he's in the rucksack and we're carrying him around. He's a baby wallaby, so a wallaby is just a lot smaller.
Can you touch him?
You can give him a little stroke, yeah.
Despite shaking up her life, Gemma wouldn't have it any other way.
He's beautiful. He's so, so special. It was love at first sight.
2 weeks of constant care and it's time for the weigh-in. Joey hitting his target weight of 800 grams will mean he's doing really well. So, have Gemma's mothering skills paid off?
Hello, little man.
This is crunch time for her and Joey.
It's really hard for me to tell whether he's gaining weight or whether he's growing.
So is Joey out of the woods?
Moment of truth. Might be a little bit scary, dude.
Joey needs to weigh in at 800 grams to be a healthy weight for his age.
Come here. Come here. Do you know how much you weigh? 808 grams. We've done it. Good boy.
Gemma's late nights and round-the-clock care are paying off. She's nailing it as a wallaby mummy.
Yes, we're doing it. That's amazing. I'm made up.
Joey has conquered this hill, but there's still a mountain to climb until he can be reintroduced back to the rest of the group. We'll continue to follow his progress in the series.
We've seen a whole range of ways the keepers look after their animals. With bedtime on the horizon for Anne and the goats, it's time for another labour-intensive feed. That is a bedroom to be envious of.
I was going to say, I think your children would love a bedroom like this.
Just look at that.
I have to say, Luke, she strikes me as an animal that does like a routine. She was waiting at the gate thinking, yep, now it's time to go in and sort of get ready for my evening.
Yeah, she always follows her stomach. She knows we put lots of food in here, and she comes in, especially this time of year, there's lots of browse.
Yeah.
And she just loves browse.
I don't think you can get lonely with the goats around.
No, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. Brilliant company for her. And sometimes when she's lying down, they go lie down next to her.
I just wondered whether the goats ever kind of, you know, keep her awake and kind of annoy her, or does she actually sort of rather enjoy having a bit of youthful company here?
I think she likes it. They don't climb on her or anything. We were worried about that. They were going to climb on her, but so far they haven't gone that close to her.
But they're successfully destroying the bedroom.
They really are.
That's why we always give lots, so there's plenty for them to go around.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely lovely to be here, to wish her good night. Good night, Anne. Luke, thank you very much. Sadly, we've got to the end of the show, but here's what's coming up on the next Animal Park.
Arabella the Binturong's health is deteriorating and no one knows why.
You don't know how this operation's going to go. You don't know what they're going to find.
Meet Hansel, the three-banded armadillo. No armbands required.
Oh, he's doing it! Yes! Oh, my goodness, that's fantastic!
And Ben comes face-to-face with his nemesis, but will his manly charms win over Rio?
He's kind of looking at me like, oh, he's still here.